ISIS recruiter murdered gay man and injured another for committing grave sin of holding hands. On October 4th, 2020, 21-year-old Abdullah, and they don't give his full last name, they just say AHH. So, using a large kitchen knife, stabbed 2 tourists who were visiting the eastern town of Dresden, Germany. Abdullah was granted refugee status in May of 2016 in Germany after traveling from Aleppo, Syria. He was tied to the killing after investigators discovered DNA evidence on the weapon, which remained at the scene of the murder. He faces 1 count of murder for fatally wounding Thomas L., 55, and 1 count of attempted murder for injuring Thomas's partner, Oliver L., who was 53. His trial for this attack began on April 13th, 2021. Abdullah told the court psychologist that his only regret was not being able to kill Oliver, so the survivor. During the Dresden Higher Regional Court hearing, Abdullah said that he believes that the couple committed a grave sin by holding hands in public. In 2018, Abdullah was sentenced to spend 2 years and 9 months in jail for allegedly planning a Sui bomb, using some coded language, attack with other militants' help.
Why would you use the B word? You censored one of them, but not the other one.
I don't know what to say.
Sui boom boom.
Sui boom boom. So this was something I wanted to highlight for a couple of reasons. One, my understanding is that especially in Arab culture, men holding hands is fairly common and actually like a very normal and appreciated sign of affection for 2 men.
Was this guy Arab?
No, he's from Syria, I believe. So I don't know.
Yeah, so maybe culturally Arab. This happened in Germany, right?
Yes.
Was this guy born or raised?
No,
in
he's
Germany?
a refugee.
Refugee, right? So Syrian culture might be different from Gulf Arab culture. I don't know, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he knows what the holding hands means in Germany. Sorry, I can't talk.
Yeah,
but yeah. So I'm like he's not he knows what it means. He can be like, oh, why are you against this? So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. How do you even comment on this? This is so disgusting. Like, when some news items are like outrageous, but not this level of outrageous, you get triggered and you have commentary. But when something is this bad, I don't even know sometimes what to say. It's just so bad and so obviously bad that it leaves no room for commentary. I guess we could respond to people saying, oh yeah, maybe there's some commentary on people who might want to talk about, look what's happening to Germany because of letting refugees in there.
Well, hey guys, if you're a fan of blasphemy and sexy Kali, like me, then that means that you probably want more blasphemous art. Well, I have good news for you. If you subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below, then you get a free booklet of some of the tastiest blasphemous art available today. So, if you want some of this delicious blasphemy, and we're so generous that we update it for you guys weekly for free, all you have to do is sign up for our newsletter below. You can also go to blasphemousart.com/ebook. That's blasphemousart.com/ebook. Sign up with your email, and you get free gifts of this tasty blasphemy. What could be better? So make sure you sign up. Link below.
That's what I wanted to highlight, because what I thought was really messed up about this case is a lot of the timeline of how things went down. So, this guy is only 21 years old. He came to Germany as a refugee in 2016. And since then, he has been in and out of institutions for terrorism, using coded language for YouTube, related offenses for years, very early into him entering Germany. So, for example, so he was let me try to construct the timeline. So he was granted refugee status in May of 2016 after traveling from Aleppo. So maybe he's not Syrian, but that's where he was traveling from. They just refer to him as AHH. So, so while he lived in asylum, he was trying to recruit more people to ISIS by threatening to cut out the tongues of Christian civilians. And I don't know at what point they discovered this, but he was doing this while in asylum. And I mean, I don't even think I can read what he wrote about Christians. They have a quote of it in this article. So then in 2018, he was sentenced to 2 years and 9 months in jail for allegedly planning a boom boom. Okay. His Facebook profile was covered in ISIS symbols, and it was used for recruiting. And he had a plan to detonate this at a high-profile film festival. And this man had been released from a juvenile detention center only days before this attack. He had been arrested once before in 2017. And with the authorities wary that if released, it would likely be that AHH would attack as he was categorized as likely to pose a threat to the public safety.
So why was he released then?
I don't know. No. How do you only get 2 months and 9 years for planning something like this?
2 what?
2 months and 9 years for planning a suey boom boom.
Wait, why are you saying it like that? You mean 9 years and 2 months?
No, 2 months. No, 2 years and 9 months.
That's what you meant. Okay. Because you said 2 months and 9 years. Okay.
Yeah.
2 years and 2 years and 9 months.
So less than 3 years for planning an attack like this against civilians with all of his history.
Yeah.
And being in this country in refugee asylum status. Like, that seems crazy to me. I don't know what the legal process is, but like why is he still here? Like, I don't know what the German asylum process is. At what point he's there to stay.
Wait, so in Germany you could like plan an attack and then you go to jail for 2 years only?
Because he was in a juvenile detention center. That still seems insane to me.
No, right now he's 21, right?
Yes.
You said, okay, so how much is he going to get now for this, what he did?
Well, the trial just began recently, which is why we're covering this. It began on the 13th, so we're not sure yet. But he has a long track record of posing a threat. As he was arrested in 2017 with, likely less than a year than entering the country. And the police are like, he poses a threat to public safety.
Okay, but on what grounds is he even in Germany? Like,
exactly.
Why is he like a refugee has a case in Germany because other people are a threat to you, and that's why you're saying like, oh, I need to be here because my life is in danger somewhere else. But this is the person that is a danger. Like, this is the person that other people are running away from.
Yeah.
The reason why other people have a case, maybe as a refugee, is because of people like him.
Yeah.
So what does it mean when people like him are being refugees? Like, I don't like. Can you try to steelman the position of even like why is he being kept in Germany after all of this? Like, do you have like any steelman? Like, why is Germany like?
I mean, I cannot think of like a defensible position, but like I said, I don't know German law, and maybe there's a contingency where at this point they have to keep him. I don't know.
I mean, a refugee is supposed to be somebody who's a danger, in danger. Not somebody who's a danger to other people.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was granted refugee status. He was fleeing Syria. He is Syrian, so presumably because of displacement, because of the civil war.
I mean, is it this obvious that sometimes when I listen to people who say like, "Oh my God, why are you keeping people in Germany like this?" Sometimes like, is it really that obvious that this is obviously bad, or am I missing something here?
Yeah,
Like,
it's so often used as a right-wing like fear-mongering tool that you have to be really skeptical, but this is just insane to me.
yeah, but maybe are we like not missing something here, because it's so obviously insane that it can't be this obviously insane. Like, why would Germany keep somebody like this? Like, I'm trying to figure this out. Like, Germany is like a very, like, they're not dumb, okay? I mean, this is an advanced country. They're doing so many things. I mean, their laws are working. It's a modern country that does get things right. Like, this cannot be. We must be missing some details, because this cannot be this obviously stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you keep somebody like this in your country?
Well, okay,
I mean, there are
so
people, there are refugees in Germany who like left Germany because they're afraid of the ISIS refugees now in Germany.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, there were Yazidi women who were like escaped Germany because they were afraid of ISIS, and they were like, "Oh my God, I saw the person who enslaved me.
Holy
And the person who
crap.
enslaved me, I saw him, and he's a refugee in Germany."
Holy
And some of them
crap.
left Germany because they're like,
I
I'm
would
not, I'm
too.
right. But why would those people get refugee status?
So this guy was a minor when he did receive refugee status. He was a minor. He
So
was
maybe,
like
oh,
16.
maybe this is it. Okay. Maybe he
So then
became,
a lot of his previous criminality was as a minor, which is why he got potentially a lighter sentence. But the fact that it was so light is still insane to me.
did he became radicalized in Germany? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the reason.
That's a possibility.
Maybe, oh yeah, and maybe he was, but still doesn't mean you have to keep him. I mean, there must be a way to undo some of those refugees.
I don't know, because at least the way that they reported it in this article, it was that he was threatening Christians in this journal he had, or in letters he was writing, when he lived in asylum.
Oh my, okay. And actually we have friends, ex-Muslim friends, who were threatened in refugee camps.
Oh, it's so common. It is so common. How many ex-Muslim people I like get in touch with who have to remain closeted because they are actually in danger of bodily harm from the refugees that they are surrounded by.
Yeah,
and they're terrified.
And these are refugees who are actually have legitimate case because they're ex-Muslims, they're gay, they're Yazidi or something, and they don't feel safe in the refugee camps. And when they come to shows with us, they're like, they are refugees themselves, and they're wondering, why are you letting these people in?
Yes.
Like, I'm running away from these people, and you're letting the people that I'm running away from, the reason why I'm running away is because of these people, and you're letting them in, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, there's so many times when people from these communities, they'll say, like, I am shocked by the naivety of the West in situations like this. Like, through very often, like, warm-hearted, well-intentioned, like, liberal mindset. Like,
yeah, and here's the thing. We're not anti-refugee.
no.
We have met so many people who personally know, like, I know statistically there are a lot higher number of people, but even just me and Susanna know people who need refugee status, right? Like,
so many
people. Like, there are so many legitimate refugees, people that need asylum, right? And they need help, right? So, like, when we are questioning why some people are getting refugee status, is not because we're anti-refugee. We want the refugee status process to work properly, because there are many people who legitimately need it, and they're behind, waiting in line because of so many people who don't need it, and so many people who are not only don't need it, don't deserve it, are being,
or they need it but they don't deserve it.
Yes,
that too, to be honest.
And many people who are acting like they need it, but they just want better opportunity,
better lifestyle.
Guys, and again, we're not against. Here's another thing: we're not against migration for economic opportunities. We just think if you're migrating for economic opportunity, you should go through work visas or student visas or stuff like that. The refugee avenue should be left alone for people who are in danger, in immediate danger. Because if you are using the refugee window for not because your life is in immediate danger, but because you just want to go live in a better country, you are basically actively putting people who are in immediate danger behind. They have to wait longer in line because you just want to upgrade your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so many of these people try to come up with ways to say their life is in immediate danger, and it's not. They want to feel somewhat safer, or they just want to live in a different country, and they come up with stories for why their lives are in immediate danger, and they're not. And legitimate cases where their life is in immediate danger, you are betraying people who their lives are in immediate danger because you just want an upgrade in your lifestyle.
People have asked me if they should lie on applications, and I get enraged. I'm like, are you kidding me?
You're putting people at risk. People who actually need this, you're putting them at risk because you lying. Yeah.
And then it requires extra scrutiny. And like it messes up the whole system. And I think Marcy is bringing up a good point, is what matters is failed protection of German citizens. And I think this is a huge problem. Like, I mean, it's not that that's the only thing about this that matters, but there was a massive failure to protect German citizens. I don't even know if they actually were, just the general public.
Yeah, but this is not the only thing matters. Like this matters, but also the refugees who are being denied legitimate refugee status, their lives, that matters too, right?
Yes.
I'm not saying Marcia is saying that that's the only thing that matters, right? But yes, that does matter.
And I think that there has to be some sort of review of how this was even allowed to happen, given this guy has a history of arrests and police documenting him as a threat to the public safety since 2017, like likely less than a year than he entered the country. So as a minor. And what was significant about this was, where did it go?
By the way, to all the right-wingers who say like, oh, you can't talk about this. If you talk about this, then you're racist. This is like a very left-leaning. No, like a lot of right-leaning people say like, oh, this is what the left doesn't want you to talk about refugees, or this is what left-leaning people would not cover this. Like stuff like this. This is a very, very left-leaning publication, right? Not very.
Yeah, it's literally a gay publication.
Yeah. And, so a lot of right-leaning content creators, they make it seem like to get information like this, you have to go to the right-leaning people sources because other people won't talk about it. But you can see right now that they do.
And another reason why I wanted to highlight this was the attack deeply alarmed government officials, with it reportedly being the first known Islamist-motivated killing of a gay person in the country. So, I think that highlights a lot of significance of this, and it seems like such a red flag or like an alarm bell to me. Especially when I was reading this, I was shocked about his criminal history and how light of a sentence he got for, the plans that he was making. It's crazy.
Okay. Anything you want to highlight in the live chat?
Mendicant Bias is saying German intelligence agency failed their citizens. To be fair, I don't know how much of this. I don't know if this is an intelligence problem so much as a criminal justice problem.
Yeah, it seemed like the intelligence agency were doing their job pretty good because they kept on catching these guys before they did something. In fact, the intelligence agencies are doing their job. If every time this guy plans something, they figure it out and they stop him. So that means they're right on it. It just seems like they just keep releasing the guy or not sending him back to Syria. It seems like it's the justice system that is failing the citizens.
Hey guys, YouTube has fully demonetized our channel for supposedly hateful and harmful conduct, without telling us what we did wrong. If we get to 1,000 patrons, we will be able to keep paying all our team, our editors, our artists without ever having to worry about monetization again, which would be amazing. Yay! So please support Atheist Republic on Patreon. Link in the description below.